Greetings, YouTube. When I'm at work, I have a policy, it's a personal policy, that I call don't screw the next guy. Now, when you come to work, someone's just left. Literally, you're walking into your work area and someone else is leaving as you're walking in. There's like a minute to 2 minute overlap. You check and see if things are okay. They go home, you take over. At the end of your shift, the same thing happens. We start on Sunday nights and we run all the way till Friday night at 11 p.m. And a lot of the machines never stop running. They run 15 consecutive shifts a week. And sometimes when you take over a job, not everything is set up the way you want it. And sometimes that's personal preference. You may want some things tweaked a little here and there. But sometimes it means that, you don't have the resources you need because the previous person did not make sure you had them. Well, when I leave my station, I make sure that the next person coming in has all the resources they need for at least the first hour. They have rubber, they have metal if the job uses metal, they have labels and tags, the floor is clean, the place is organized. I try to make sure that the next person has the best possible jump on their shift. I usually even run one cycle of my presses for them. I've finished my paperwork, I'm ready to go home, and the last cycle I run is for the next person. That's just how I function. Now, it doesn't matter if the previous person didn't do this for me. I don't care. I'm not going to pass a bad situation on to the next person, even though I could. I'm just not going to do it. I consider it unethical and immoral. And the phrase, don't screw the next guy, is one that I myself have come up with, and I've used it many times. When I'm training people, I always say it, make sure that when you're leaving your station, you don't screw the next guy. But Wil Wheaton came up with a more succinct version thereof. He said, don't be a dick. And it's a shorter version, which is good, and it's got a little pithy, element to it. It's slightly naughty, so it sticks in people's minds. And it's a little bit more universal. Even though dick is associated with males, it also means don't be an ass. So it can be applied in more situations. Now, I don't just have this attitude at work. I have this attitude outside of work. I don't want to be a dick to anyone. I don't want to screw over my fellow man, even though it might benefit me in some measurable way. And sometimes they're small gestures. Occasionally, I'll pay for someone else's toll at a toll booth. I don't have to do that. I do it because I feel like doing it. If I see something obviously out of place, I will fix it if I can. I've picked up many things that have been blown into the street. Barrels, toys, things like that, because of storms and things like that. I've shoveled sidewalks because it's my sidewalk, and I want to make sure that the postman can get from point A to point B. Little gestures that I can do as a person, as a fellow citizen, that might make someone else's life a little easier. Back when we had parking meters in my town, we no longer have parking meters in my town. Now you have to use this stupid thing where you go to a machine and you put money into it. It gives you a little ticket, and you put a little ticket on your dashboard. It's a pain in the butt. Back when we had parking meters, I've been known to pay. I would be known to pay parking meters because someone was out, or they were just about to be out. It's because I could. And that attitude eventually moved its way into my politics. Eventually, it shifted my worldview as I came to understand empathy and sympathy and compassion. And I became a progressive socialist. Because I don't want to be a dick. I don't want to screw the next guy. I want policies, and I want a system that makes sure that no one falls further than they have to. Where everyone has shelter and food and education and access to health care and access to all the other things that we need, fire departments, police departments, libraries, schools, the whole 9 yards. I want a functioning infrastructure, a welfare system that says that, yes, You may have a bad time in life. You may fall from the middle class. But we are going to stop you from going too far. We are going to make sure that you don't hit rock bottom. We are going to make sure that you do not suffer because of the fickle will of fate. And in the event someone does break our laws, that we should impose the minimum punishment against them until they break them a second time. And the second time they break those laws, we should again only impose a little bit more. That we should not bring down the hammer of justice upon them the first time they make a mistake, or the second. That we should make sure that we try everything possible to redeem them, or help them to redeem themselves. That empathy, sympathy, and compassion are ideals that we hold higher than anything else. And that we are not a people that are willing to throw away human beings because of some twisted, warped view of social Darwinism. That every human life has value. Every human life has value, no matter who they are. And for a lot of people, that's a radical concept. It isn't for me. And it's one I apply here on my channel. It's one I apply in my real life. Does it mean I have to go out and be Mother Teresa to everyone I bump into? No, it doesn't. I have to take care of myself and my family as well. But I can do that and at the same time trying to do the minimum harm to the world around me. Is it perfect? No. There are people that say because I'm an omnivore, I'm harming the world. I will disagree with them. There will people say that, well, you're an American and you consume far more resources. You know, I do consume more resources than some people. But I try to have as light a footprint as I can. And I try to recycle everything possible in my life. Not just paper and plastic, but all the material goods that I don't need. I try to pass as many of them on to other people. I give them to people I know. I donate them to charities. I reuse them in some other way. I try to be a decent, moral human being. I try to not be a dick. So, I'm just suggesting that maybe if more people applied those wise words of Wil Wheaton, that everybody would be happier in this world. And I realize that this particular idea and this philosophy runs counter to a lot of things that we are raised with and taught and discussed in the modern media. But that doesn't matter. No matter who tells you something is right, if you know in your heart it's wrong, it's wrong. And I'm going to quote a comic book here, Captain America. When the whole world tells you that something's wrong, you know it's right. Something's right, you know it's wrong. And they tell you to move out of the way. Get out of the way, we don't need you. You're interrupting our process. It's your job to plant yourself near the river of truth like a tree. And to tell the whole world, no, you move.